We're back, people, and today we're breaking down film on Teair Tart, Miami Dolphins' newest defensive tackle. They signed him yesterday, and I think this is a super underrated signing. And, out of all the D tackles they signed, he's definitely the best of the bunch. Like, he's your current starter next to Zach Sealer. Really explosive, one-tech/nose type of player. Gets in the backfield. He can be a one-gapper. He can also, hold his own at the point of attack. Plays like a two-gapper. Has that strength. The reason, he ended up being cut last season from the Titans had to do with, apparently his effort level and attitude, which had to do with the contract he wanted. So that definitely gives me some pause. But, you bring him in on a 1-year deal. I don't mind that. You need all the defensive tackle help you can get. You get him in a nice rotation. He makes so many plays in the backfield. Super disruptive. Explodes off the ball. Knows how to use his hands. Has really good length to him. Some good strength, especially in his upper body strength. I do think his balance and pad level could be better. It gets him into trouble sometimes. But he's a really, really dynamic player getting into the backfield, doing all this stuff. It's really, really exciting to watch him go to work. All of his biggest plays come from the interior. He really only played for mostly one tech, 2i, played some 3 tech in certain situations. He can do work versus the run and as a pass rusher, knows how to, create disruption, especially when he plays with good technique. There's sometimes he doesn't play with good technique, plays with super high pad level that gets him into trouble. But yeah, he's a really exciting player to watch. Definitely their top defensive lineman as of right now, after Sealer that they brought in. And I think this just makes them more flexible in the draft, which is always helpful. Being able to be flexible in the draft, you can go best player available. This doesn't mean they're not going to take a D tackle at 21 or 55, but this doesn't force them to take a D tackle at 21 or 55 now that they have so many pieces in there, guys that are at least, rotation level players. They have a lot of bodies, so they could still take, a Newton or Murphy at 21 and be fine. But now this really helps them be more flexible at 21, whether they want to go O-line, D-tackle, edge, receiver, whatever it is. They now really can just go best player available. And he's just really, really dynamic and fun to watch, especially when he's playing with that high effort. I didn't really notice him playing super lazy on film. I think it just had more to do with him complaining about playing time and really wanting a contract, and that was why Tennessee moved on from him. But getting into the backfield, good hands, explode off the ball. He loves to hit that club swim right there, gets that to the back, and then just disrupts this play. Really, really takes over. Tart, really, really fun to watch in these areas, and he's definitely a good player to add in the mix. Okay, so here we got Tart as a 2i right here. Another play of him just shooting into the backfield. He just explodes off the ball. He sees this space right here, just from the aligning of the offensive line. He just explodes off the ball. He has that, especially if he has a natural leverage of where he wants to go. Just boom, another quick club, gets that hand to the back of the elbow, swim over the top. They're even pulling across, so he basically takes out 2 O-linemen in one play because they're trying to pull this guy across. And he's so quick into the backfield that even the right guard that's pulling across isn't able to get a clean hit on him, and he just takes a good angle to the point of attack. He's got some good recognition skills. I feel like he plays pretty smart, especially when he's able to just get upfield right away. He can hold his own at the point of attack, but I do think he does a better job playing as a disruptor. Here it is again, just natural leverage advantage. Some of these other plays reverse some gap scheme runs where there's pulling. Now, with the outside zone to the left, they're flowing away and he's on the backside of the play, but he has natural leverage versus this right guard. So he just beats him to the point of attack, has some good upper body power to just throw him to the side and then explodes to the ball carrier. Sometimes I see him end up on the ground. That's just when he plays with super high pad level. And I think, his lower body strength could be better, his core strength. But yeah, he just creates so many plays like that in the backfield. Tart, really, really fun to watch. He does some good work in pass protection. Honestly, the first time I saw this sack, because this is the only sack he had last season, he definitely does creates a lot of pressures. He was getting QB hits, forcing QBs to throw away. But on this sack, I actually even thought it was a screen at first with how badly he beat the center. But just basically, stacks and sheds him almost, push and pull, get control, and then toss him to the side, throw him to the ground. Good use of hands and length there, and then get after the QB finish. He's got some just a good overall athletic movement style, especially for a nose one tech type of player. He's got some good explosiveness. You don't see many one techs that are play with his level of explosiveness in the interior, just constantly splitting D tackles. This time a little bit different because he's on the 2i, so he's slightly shade to the inside of this guard, who he instantly goes into the B gap, goes over, splits the guard and the tackle, does a really good job of splitting like this, getting skinny, throwing his arms to the back of the O lineman, so he beats them. Would like to see him, finish with this tackle for loss. The running back's able to escape out of it, but just that disruption should, allow people to get to the running back. They just kind of take bad angles to point of attack. But Tart does a great job with his initial burst off the ball, feels for blocks, feels like 64 step to the inside. He wants to take that B gap right away, so he just, shows some really good instinct and feel in this scenario, and then splits those blocks, gets in the backfield. Really good one gap, aggressive type of player, constantly getting to the backfield. Here's another example of him, waiting, getting to the backside of these blocks, avoiding, 51's trying to cut him off, and he feels that. Instead of, getting that natural leverage advantage, he's slanting back to this side, get to that gap, split both blockers right there, and then able to make an adjustment that they're working outside zone away from you, that you have to now go and chase, that he's able to hang on and show some pretty good quickness here, that he's shot up field like this. He's instantly able to just get back out laterally. Shouldn't be able to see, guys of his size moving like this. One, being this guy with quickness up the field and then having to get laterally down the line of scrimmage on the running back and make a play in the backfield. Those types of plays, super impressive to me. And Tart really pops on the film with his ability to beat his blocks. He's also got the power, I think, because usually when he's making big time disruption plays in the backfield versus the run, it's with quickness. It's obviously a little harder to win that way when they're pass blocking, because they're prepared for that. But he has the power. You can see him hit this hard club right there and toss this guy to the side like it's nothing. That's some good upper body power, some good grip strength, some good pop in your hands. And then this ball comes out. It's a good throw from Baker Mayfield and coming out very quickly. You can see he wins this rep very fast. So definitely sometimes you can see him even flying here, which gets him caught off balance at time. He plays a little high and will end up jumping around to try to get in throwing lanes. But yeah, Tart, really, really enjoy watching him play. This is a solid rep where he can just get control at the point of attack. Less of a, two gap where he shoots up field, or less of a one gap where he shoots up field. This one, he gets control of his priority right here. The guy cuts him off, but he does a good job using that long arm, keeping his chest clean, so he's in complete control of his gap, doesn't fire up field, sees where the running back's going, and now he just gets low, good leverage, good pad level, good power, and then drive that blocker into the running back, constrict these running lanes in the interior like that. Good work from Tart. Love seeing that part of his game as well, because he creates a lot of disruption. Here's another example of him, holding his own at the point of attack, wants to avoid the double team, so he's not going to try to, shoot up field this time. He doesn't feel that space, so he just attacks the center right away, so he doesn't avoid 74's combo. So now he can take on the center at the point of attack, get control, and now, he can peek this side, and then once he sees the running back, clear that and work back to the other side. He can shed, come off of it, get lateral, use his length to make a play. So yeah, he can definitely play in multiple different types of schemes as well and be disruptive in many different ways. Hold his own at the point of attack, shoot into the backfield, whatever it is you're asking of him. I think Tart is capable of both, as you'll see. This is like this type of play. I can't remember if it was 3rd and short or 4th and short, but it was definitely like they needed it like an inch to get the first down, and he just instantly wins his rep. Boom, they're going low. He expects that, so he swims over the top, splits both tackles, shows off some nice core strength, and he just instantly disrupts this play, which one, he takes down 2 offensive linemen at the same time, beats them instantly, and now that he's done that, 21 is forced to bounce to other holes, and since, they were trying to double team him, multiple people are just coming in free, and he basically disrupts that play. Even though he doesn't get a stat for it, he ends up on the ground. He's the one who really had that big disruption to slow that one down. Really good work from Tart. Really only got to see him play like as a 3-tech like this in obvious passing situations. That's kind of what Tennessee did. Really, if it was like an obvious passing situation, they'd have multiple guys line up as their D tackles line up wide and then get the wide 9 techniques out here. So this is when he got to line up as like a 3 or like a 4-eye. That's like the widest he ever went. But you can see him just win this rep quickly. Kind of misses that first initial punch, but he's very explosive. Catches this guy off guard, and he's able to reset that club to get it to the back of the elbow, and then swim over the top, and then get to that elbow as well, because once you do that, you're just trying to beat that hand. You're trying to win to the inside, so you want to beat that inside hand, that right hand, right arm of that left guard right there. And once you do that, you won your rep. The only problem is now that he did that, and also the defensive end that was working to his side also cut to the inside. If he had played the outside leverage of this left tackle, it would have, worked right into his favor because Carr would have floated right into him. But since they both worked to the inside, Carr ends up escaping. But this is just a really good rep of him winning winning instantly. He's definitely the most talented defensive tackle that they picked up, because they picked up a lot of them. To replace Wilkins, they brought in brought in an army of players, and Tart is for sure that starter right now. And then if you still draft one, then that guy can easily be your starter, and Tart, will be that third, really solid third defense tackle. Tart kind of is going to play that Raekwon Davis role, but he's a much better player than what Raekwon was. No offense to Raekwon, but that's kind of what it was. And then Tart working on the line of scrimmage, like showing some effort, which I like to see. There was definitely concerns with his effort level towards the end of the season. This is at the beginning, but this is a pretty good job getting down laterally. Using your hands and leg to keep yourself clean. You see what's going on here. That's Taysom Hill at the quarterback's position, so you're expecting a run. Just getting out to the edge, pretty good effort and chase ability, showing some decent athleticism, good recognition skills. They're trying to, show like this might be pass, like with how they're setting, so he gets wide. Tart uses his length and recognizes that it's a run here pretty quickly, sheds that, comes off, makes a good athletic play on space. So those are kind of things that Tart really, really showed on the film. Getting after the quarterback, playing pretty relentless with his hands. Really like to see him just beat people with his hands, beat them up. Really uses that length, catches people off balance. Power, keeps working, getting to the inside, even when he doesn't just like win with like an initial pass room, whether it's his club, his swim, things like that. He can work some push and pull. He'll just win with some power and his length to create that separation and get after the quarterback, force some throwaways just like that. There are a lot of things to like with Tart's game. Also with like his angles, sometimes he's so explosive and he works like takes that initial step to like the opposite half of the offensive lineman and they're not expecting it, and then he just readjusts, gets back to the space where he initially came from, and then uses his hands well, create that space with that left hand extend, and then get over the top with that right hand and get out to the quarterback. Ball coming out quickly to the running back. Another really good stuff from Tart. Really good versus the run. Has his flashes in as a pass rusher. It's maybe not as consistent as you'd like, but it's still pretty good, especially for what they're bringing him in on. You're getting him this late in free agency. This is about as good as you'll find for a defensive tackle, talent wise at least, and definitely just gives you more flexibility in the draft, which I think is huge. Now that Dolphins just keep adding people at positions that just doesn't make them force. Like if they they added Driscoll on the offensive line, which I think he's a solid depth player, but that obviously doesn't force you to go off of the offensive line. But it makes you feel more comfortable to not reach on an offensive lineman. Same thing here with Tart. They did it at multiple different positions. We'll see who else they add in free agency. But yeah, big fan of what Tart brings to the table. Very, very dynamic player. And when he's on, he's very, very good. So yeah, really enjoyed watching Tart play. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.